systems, which is a typical example of decision support system. Okay, so when we talk about AI essentially helps. Now it has three layers, but essentially it tries to capture all those data, and based on the algorithms based on which it is functioning, it provides either a recommendation, or it can even take a decision and execute certain tasks. Okay. In this movie, practically the system which they call Arya is the name, and that system is in a way self-evolving, self-sufficient, right? One similar movie, I'm not sure all of you might have seen, is I, Robo of Will Smith, I guess. Right? So I'm a science fiction lover. So that is another movie which, if possible, I recommend all of you to watch if you are interested in AI, because that movie also wonderfully captures the risks involved in AI, how it can be uh, problematic for human beings, how it can be evolving, and all those things. Wonderful things are there in that movie also. So let's start with the ABCD of AI, and A stands for AI also. So let's see one video, small video on what is AI, and that will help us to have a common understanding on AI, right? So shall I play that video, or you have any questions before we move on? Any question, comment,
No,
query?
no. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Picture this, a machine that could organize your cupboard just as you like it, or serve every member of the house a customized cup of coffee. Makes your day easier, doesn't it? These are the products of artificial intelligence. But why use the term artificial intelligence? Well, these machines are artificially incorporated with human-like intelligence to perform tasks as we do. This intelligence is built using complex algorithms and mathematical functions. But AI may not be as obvious as in the previous examples. In fact, AI is used in smartphones, cars, social media feeds, video games, banking, surveillance, and many other aspects of our daily life. The real question is, what does an AI do at its core? Here is a robot we built in our lab, which is now dropped onto a field. In spite of a variation in lighting, landscape, and dimensions of the field, the AI robot must perform as expected. This ability to react appropriately to a new situation is called generalized learning. The robot is now at a crossroad, one that is paved and the other rocky. The robot must determine which path to take based on the circumstances. This portrays the robot's reasoning ability. After a short stroll, the robot now encounters a stream that it cannot swim across. Using the plank provided as an input, the robot is able to cross this stream. So, our robot uses the given input and finds the solution for a problem. This is problem solving. These three capabilities make the robot artificially intelligent. In short, AI provides machines with the capability to adapt, reason, and provide solutions. Well, now that we know what AI is, let's have a look at the two broad categories an AI is classified into. Weak AI, also called narrow AI, focuses solely on one task. For example, AlphaGo is a maestro of the game Go, but you can't expect it to be even remotely good at chess. This makes AlphaGo a weak AI. You might say Alexa is definitely not a weak AI, since it can perform multiple tasks. Well, that's not really true. When you ask Alexa to play Despacito, it picks up the keywords play and Despacito and runs a program it is trained to. Alexa cannot respond to a question it isn't trained to answer. For instance, try asking Alexa the status of traffic from work to home. Alexa cannot provide you this information as she is not trained to. And that brings us to our second category of AI, strong AI. Now, this is much like the robots that only exist in fiction as of now. Ultron from Avengers is an ideal example of a strong AI. That's because it's self aware and eventually even develops emotions. This makes the AI's response unpredictable. You must be wondering, well, how is artificial intelligence different from machine learning and deep learning? We saw what AI is. Machine learning is a technique to achieve AI, and deep learning, in turn, is a subset of machine learning. Machine learning provides a machine with the capability to learn from data and experience through algorithms. Deep learning does this learning through ways inspired by the human brain. This means through deep learning, data and patterns can be better perceived. Ray Kurzweil, a well-known futurist, predicts that by the year 2045, we would have robots as smart as humans. This is called the point of singularity. Well, that's not all. In fact, Elon Musk predicts that the human mind and body will be enhanced by AI implants, which would make us partly cyborgs. So, here's a question for you. Which of the below AI?
So that is brief about AI. Any question?
No.
Okay. So let me put on the presentation as well. So is the presentation visible?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So now I think Mahesh bhai, you need to help me if any comment or some chat is there because I cannot see chat as of now. So uh, what we saw so far is about what artificial intelligence is and what is the basic understanding of AI, how it is linked with ML, that is machine learning, and how deep learning is also part of it. What is the difference in these three, how they are associated or interrelated, right? And don't worry, I'll be sharing this presentation and the references also mentioned so that you can also later watch this videos, whatever I plugged in this presentation, right? So moving ahead, there are other terms also as far as artificial intelligence is concerned. Two we have already seen, which is ML, machine learning, and deep learning, right? In addition to that, we also have cognitive computing. Let me just put a pointer. That first one, right? So again, not going by the technical understanding or even the brief about this, because this each of this sections has its own understanding, definition, implementation, strategy, and all. But why I'm showing this to you is whenever you come across AI related things, you may be able to relate now that, okay, this is something related to cognitive computing, right? Or maybe this is something related to computer vision. Computer vision generally talks about facial recognition or identification of pictures, or it is basically uh, the visual sense of human being which is at work in terms of computers, right? Again, neural network. So neural network is essentially talking about uh, the functioning of brain, and that is mimicked by your algorithm, right? And then you have natural language processing. So basically, uh, those many of us might have used this indirectly when we give commands to Alexa or maybe Siri, or even now we have in our Geo Fiber also, we just click that voice button and give our command, and that is being processed by the system. So vice versa is also possible, that many a times we all use Google Maps, right? So Google Maps, obviously there is a voice assistance also. So that voice assistance is nothing but one type of natural language processing, but in reverse mode. So system is generating the voice. Okay. Over here in earlier example, voice is being used as input, right? So these are the components of artificial intelligence. So not necessarily everything is part of AI applications, but based on the requirement or based on the application of that particular product, one or one more than one sections can be used to develop that AI product. Any question on this? Any query? Okay. So, as mentioned in the video, also there are three broad types of AI. So far, we have been dealing with the first stage, that is machine learning. So, even the example is Siri, Alexa, Cortana kind of things, which are I can say not limited, but they have special task, or they are specialized in one area. They solve one or that kind of problem. It has some boundary, right? Whereas where we are moving now is towards general intelligence. General intelligence mainly talks about it is broader in nature, and it is almost mimicking the human behavior. And then going forward, maybe in future we'll be having consciousness in the machine as well, and that is generally being called as super intelligence. So these are the three broad categories which are proposed or which are pronounced by AI experts and domain experts in AI, right? So so far, as on today, we are on uh, weak AI, you can say, or narrow intelligence of AI. That is where we are as of now. Now, moving ahead, this is what I adopted from one of the Josh Bernstein's report as well as a YouTube video. I have put the reference over here. Now, this is how the entire tech market of HR got changed in at least last 2 decades. Why 2 decades? Because mostly most of us know that from 1990 onwards, at least in India, this entire IT boom and internet and then subsequent waves of internet came in, right? So in 2000 practically we had what you saw over here is licensed kind of system which are standalone. Most of you might be aware about the SAP implementation in many of the organization. Maybe Oracle is used as one of the backend support and all those things. So typically, what we heard during those days, and which is still there in many of the organization, is HCM, which is Human Capital Management, right? LMS, that is Learning Management System, ATS, Applicant Tracking System. So these are individualized system which we many organizations still are having them, right? The good thing is, though they are in a way standalone systems, they are at back end, let's say SAP or Oracle, they are somewhat integrated, right? And though they are specific to that particular domain or that particular function of HR, right? Like LMS, so largely it is focusing on L&D domain, may or may not interact with other systems like ATS and all, right? So that depends on the level of integration which is being implemented in that particular organization. uh, in 2010, we moved from this talent systems, which are license based, user based, and even standalone, which are being implemented at particular site of the unit. We moved to SaaS, that is software as service or cloud kind of technology, right? Where this standalone physical systems are moved to cloud, and more integration happened in HCM as a, let's say, domain, human capital management, right? And the examples of the systems are Workday, which is being implemented. Success factors were one of the known name during those days. And mostly in 2020 we are now in mobile kind of and workflow kind of systems, right? Where we practically have app for many of the things, right from hiring, onboarding till separation. We may have entire our employee lifecycle management on an app, right? So that is where many of the organizations are currently. Few are moving in AI powered and AI enabled kind of domain now because of emergence of AI. So we do see Eightfold and Phenom or Seek Out kind of platforms which are being used by few organizations. And going forward, as all of us said in the beginning, that AI is not an option, right? So sooner or later, we may integrate to a larger system which are AI driven. Obviously, the offerings may vary from, let's say, vendor to vendor, but yes, going forward, there will be a larger system. It's like for marketplace, we have Amazon, right? So we may have for HR also some kind of Amazon where many vendors and organizations may come together and use that particular platform for delivering various HR related services. So this is one idea of how tech in HR has moved over a period of time. Anything on this? Any question, query, comment? We are between, according to my understanding and experience, we are between 2010 to 2020. And unfortunately many of okay rather than unfortunately, let me say it otherwise. Fortunately, there are lot of SaaS based platform which are offering few services which are very preliminary or basic services of HR on user basis, right? So that is now being adopted by many MSME kind of organization. Otherwise, a typical, let's say, 50 or 100 employee organization is still run on pen and paper. Many of the time, still Excel sheets are being used, still words are being used. So that is there, and uh, we are between 2010 to 2020. That is my personal opinion.